This is, we're being recorded, so I gotta watch my language now. Welcome everybody to our ChatOps virtual ACE. For the time being, we are still doing our ACEs virtually. We are going to be taking a summer break. We noticed that a lot of people are going to be having a lot of time off. The weather's nice in Toronto. So we're going to take a break, and in the fall, we'll be back probably with a mix of virtual and fingers crossed, we might actually get an in-person ACE event. That would be very exciting for all of us to see you people in person. So we will keep you posted on that. We're really excited. It's always super great whenever we get an Atlassian to present at one of our events. And we're so excited to have Tristan Rubidoux. I'll try to pronounce your last name properly, from Austin, Texas, from Atlassian, from the Halp team, which I am really curious about this product myself and really looking forward to this demonstration. So I am going to give it over to Tristan, unless you have anything to add, Danny. Did I miss anything?
No, you did a fabulous job. Over to Tristan.
Okay, Tristan, take it away. Everyone, if you could mute while Tristan is doing his presentation, and we'll have questions and answers at the end of his presentation.
Cool. Thanks so much for the intro, Susan. I'm really happy to be here and show off Halp, introduce what Halp is and some of the recent stuff we've been working on. Let me get my screen shared. All right. A little bit of background about Halp. We launched in 2017 out of Boulder, Colorado, and we actually started our life as we were trying to build a CRM inside of Slack, and kind of backed our way into internal support, ticketing, and the like. And for the first portion of our life, we were just a Slack app, but following the Atlassian acquisition last May, we knew it was the time to tackle Microsoft Teams. We all saw their kind of meteoric rise in especially the work from home stuff. And we tried to take all the learnings we found in our Slack experience and bring them over to Teams. So I'm Tristan Rubidoux. I was one of the original co-founders of Halp, the original CTO, and now I do more of the product stuff. They don't let me write any code anymore here at Atlassian. We have much smarter people to do that now. So our whole original idea for Halp was this conversational ticketing. People are getting out of email into chat. And that just created a whole bunch of new issues, right? How can we try to tame that chat storm that's happening? We zeroed in on a very prevalent problem. People were circumventing submitting IT requests to the portal by email, and they were just DMing their IT person because they knew that, Greg helped him last time. I'm just going to DM him again and try to speed up that turnaround. What actually created a lot of other problems of untracked work and prioritization. And Halp in the early days just made it very easy to create an IT ticket out of any piece of text, any chat that came through Slack. What we've tried to do in Teams is take those same learnings that we found in Slack in the early days and bring them over to Teams. In Microsoft Teams, there's a few different paradigms, right? Chat is a little bit separated. Most people are using group DMs. The channels are actually a little less, I would say, collaborative than Slack channels. They're more project-based. They're sharing a document and chatting about that document rather than doing a bunch of asynchronous chat in channels. So we had to adapt our learnings a little bit, but the same problems exist there. Not tracking work. People, instead of sending your employees to an email address or a portal, we're all employees at the same company. We're all in this internal chat. We can do better and have a closer experience here. Why Halp for Microsoft Teams? I touched on it a little bit, but the tracking, untracked work on these requests that come in through DM is very hard to manage for any team. Specifically, we found early product market fit in IT and DevOps, but as we learned, any team can kind of use lightweight ticketing. We like to think of ourselves as the Trello of service requests. Automation, we've built very chat specific recipes that complement JSM workflows as well. So you can have all of your automations set up in JSM, but you can have very chat specific ones that Halp can unlock through, if it came from this channel, if it came out of this form in this channel, and you can do routing accordingly. And the reporting. So we have a two-way sync with JSM that if you have all your reporting built out there already, you can now introduce your chat specific tickets, and you can segment those and look at those a la carte, or you can group them into all of your tickets now and see how you're doing on all your measurements there. We also offer Halp specific reporting, which kind of just got a facelift actually, and you can do your chat specific reporting there as well. So who uses Halp? I touched on this a little bit. Early days, we focused on IT and operations, DevOps, sales ops. But what we found pretty quickly was that once people saw this in chat, a lot of teams could use lightweight ticketing. Marketing, legal, they all have requests that are long running that they need to track work in. And that's where we really found a sweet spot. We offer different queues of work similar to different projects in JSM. And one project with IT could be hooked up to JSM. If legal didn't need that type of backend, we could just do it, standalone. Halp is an option as well. Over the years, we've gotten to work with just an amazing group of companies. We kind of like to add our NASCAR slide here of some of the companies that we work with. It's been a lot of fun to see the different use cases out of all these and how each of these companies are kind of configuring Halp to do a little bit different of job depending on their goals. I like to refer to Halp as an iceberg product. You can see what's out of the water, and it's very easy and lightweight to start. But as you get into the configuration, there's a lot underneath the surface that you can do to make it more powerful. Let's jump into a demo here. Let me stop my share so I can reshare my Chrome. All right. And I'll show off some of the capabilities of Halp. Halp is all around ticketing, right? So there's a couple different ways to kick off ticket creation here within chat. Some of the easiest ways here in the composer box, as soon as you add Halp to a team, you get the Halp icon in the message extension. Let's go ahead and click that. So you can do your first set of routing. I have an IT queue and an HR queue. Let's do an IT request. And this sounds like a hardware request. So a few things are going to happen when I submit this form. And all of those forms are completely customizable. If you already have custom fields, custom forms built out in JSM, we can pull those down and you don't have to duplicate the drop-down options and all of that. Or you can build them in Halp specifically if you're not integrating with a backend system. So as the ticket requester, as the person who filled out that form who's seeking Halp, I got a direct message from Halp. And I can see that my service ticket has been logged. I have a title. I have an ID here that looks like a JSM ID. My ticket's open, and it's unassigned. It hasn't been picked up, right? I can easily reply here if I, add more context, if I forgot to add something. And these replies, they roll right up into this adaptive card here in Microsoft Teams, which is nice because it kind of encapsulates this whole service request. And you can see I can scroll up, I can see I had a ticket before, but usually as the ticket requester, we might have one, maybe two open tickets at a time. So this feed isn't very, very complicated to understand. But over here on the agent side, what we like to do is we have triage channels in Slack, and it's a little bit different in Microsoft Teams. We have triage teams because agent membership is handled at the team level. So if we go in here and look at the teams, so myself and these 3 additional people are help desk agents because they belong to this triage channel. And we like to touch on that because adding an agent to Halp is as easy as inviting another person to this triage channel. Now they're a help desk agent, right? And that's how we bill, is help desk agents. And that can be a subset of your total agent count in JSM or Jira software as well. So here in the general channel, it looks similar to the requester ticket, but it has a couple more interfaces. Here on the agent side, I can go ahead and assign this to myself. All right. And let's go ahead and do a quick reply right here. As we can see, Tristan is having a conversation with himself, so it's a little ambiguous, but you can kind of get the point that the agent can reply right here in chat. We can also do private notes. And we can see that was sent as a private note. We can also attach any files if we need to do a screenshot or a log file or PDF or anything like that. If we take a look back over here at chat, that first agent reply was broadcasted and the second one was suppressed, the private note. And let's go ahead and we resolved that ticket. So it was pending. Now it's going to go to closed. We can see that ticket's been closed. So that was the kind of the whole life cycle there of a ticket experience in chat. There's a couple other ways. Any piece of text that's been put into chat by anyone in a public channel or in a DM, creating a ticket off of that is as simple as doing more actions, create a ticket in Halp, and you can follow that flow right through there. Whoever authored this piece of text becomes the ticket requester, and that whole process kicks off again with the triage channel and what have you. Let's go ahead and take a look at how that looks in JSM. And so we like to really zero in on our two-way sync. So anything that happens in Jira happens in Halp and happens in Microsoft Teams or Slack, depending on what you're looking at. So this is the ticket that we just did, all from within chat. We opened it up with the title, we added more context, help is on the way, then we added this private note, then we closed the ticket. So you can kind of see the history of events on that. So Halp has done some of these things on our behalf, and we use the REST API with the credentials of the person who authorized it and the service account. So you get accurate reporting on your ticket data, but the whole life cycle of the ticket has happened here in chat, which is really powerful for context switching. It makes it amazing so that agents can kind of swarm on these chat tickets. Additionally, Anything that comes into JSM, you can route into the triage channels here. So this channel will light up anytime your team gets a ticket, and you can add as many of these triage channels as you want. So we have, HR triage and all of these others. So you can get very complicated, but for this demo, I like to just keep it simple. It's easier to grasp with just the one team. Yeah, I do like to touch on some of the we do have our own web app, so you can take a look at our interface as well. We designed this to look a little bit more like iMessage than your traditional email ticketing system. If you prefer to work out of the web, you can work here. But this is where you'd also go to set up some of these kind of recipes that I was talking about. This is kind of our if this then that builder. So we can go in and take a look at some of these. If the status is pending and it's been replied to by an agent, do this. If a ticket has a custom field, human resources, send it to the HR team, right? You can build these automations right here, and it starts to get pretty powerful. Depending on what you select here. There's lots of different types of actions, triggers, and outcomes here. Confirm. Same thing, we do custom fields, custom forms, custom statuses, queues. This is where you would set up the HR teams. Kind of look at your agents and what queues they belong to. We do our own version of SLAs. But if you have anything built out in JSM, we honor that. And this is where you set up your integrations here as well too. So you can set up JSM, Jira software. We also do a Zendesk integration as well, but not as used these days. That's kind of the stuff I like to touch on during the demo. I have just a couple other slides I like to do here at the end. Like I mentioned, we've really been investing in our JSM integration. We do offer Zendesk as well. Setting up, installing Halp is very simple from the team's app source. You just have to add it to a team and do admin approval. We do require that admin approval to get matching email addresses in chat with email addresses in JSM. That's how we do that nice two-way sync. And then you're often making tickets. You can kind of be up and running in the first 15-20 minutes, and then spend another maybe 30 minutes doing any configuration you'd like to do. It's very quick. But yeah, there's an offer here. We'll do an extended month trial for any of you community members that would like to go and give it a whirl. We'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love if anybody that was interested in Teams, give it a go. But yeah, any questions? That was a lot there for a moment.
I have questions.
Yeah.
So this works with Slack as well?
Yeah, so for the first 3 years, we were strictly on the Slack App Store, and I could do a whole nother hour presentation on that, on all the stuff we've built there. So specifically showing off our Teams integration today, which we've been in the market since last November with.
Right. So you started with Slack and then moved over to Teams, which is really smart because a lot of these larger enterprise companies won't use Slack. They only use Teams. Yeah. And so a Halp agent would have to also be a JSM agent in order to make those transitions happen and respond to the tickets and stuff. Is that assumed?
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, you can use Halp as a standalone ticketing system.
Yep.
We are better together. If you integrate it with JSM, for somebody to be in the triage channel and making all those transitions and kind of acting as an agent, we do require them to be an agent on the JSM or Jira software side. Yep.
Yeah. And then there is no time tracking in Halp though, right? That would be a JSM thing.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have a time tracking specific feature in Halp, but anything that happens in JSM, if you have any third-party add-on or doing any time tracking there, it'll still do the ticket updates on that side as well. We do have people that have set that up before.
Okay. Okay, that takes care of my questions. Just feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions of Tristan about the use of Halp. Come on, I can't be the only one.
Thank you for the presentation. And with the Slack integration, could that also be applied to external facing channels, like if we're linked with other organizations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd say about 20% of our customers actually use it like that in those Slack shared channels, doing kind of B2B support, which is a big growing use case. And in the coming months, Microsoft Teams will be doing the same thing as well. They're actually calling it Teams Connect, same thing. And so they're going to be doing that shared channels use case as well. We see a lot of like managed service providers use that for their clients, or any B2B task tracking, partnership teams, that sort of thing. It's really nice. We use Halp that way in our shared channels with our customers, and it just creates a really close customer relationship to be able to chat with them. And then if they have an issue, you can just mark it with an emoji. It creates a ticket. It's durable, and then we can track it and resolve it. It's really nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess what happens when you're using it as B2B, it almost makes it feel like just more conversational and not, someone waiting for an email update and answering the email. They're having that conversation.
It's been really good. Sometimes a conversation can turn into a ticket, right? And you never know when that's going to happen. And when that conversation does become a ticket that you need to track, you can do it right there in chat. That's really nice. And then yeah, we felt it just creates this closer relationship. It also, first response time goes way down. Overall ticket resolution time goes way down, just because of that kind of shorter. It's more like an SMS type conversation, and then like long-winded emails is what we see. Things start to happen, and then when you bring in the power, we have another product called Halp Answers that does kind of ticket deflection, auto answering type stuff. That's really powerful too, to set up in chat autoresponders for keyword matching and that type of stuff. So, and that's available on Slack today, and over the next coming quarters, we're going to be bringing that into Teams as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions from the audience?
Yeah, I've got one question. It's Ivan speaking. From a data compliance and privacy management perspective, is there a place any other else that besides your Slack, your Teams instance and your Jira instance that your data is going to live in? Yeah,
so Halp does hold on to some ticket data, mostly references to like timestamps in chat and audit IDs in Jira. We do hold on to some of that data, but we've moved all of Halp infrastructure onto Atlassian platform. So we're running on the same systems as Jira now. So I'd be happy to share any security specific information. If you email security@halp.com, we can get you the whole packet about data residency and what happens there. But we rarely have any customers that we can't service because of those requirements. So.
Nice. So follow up on that one. So that is more around the Atlassian infrastructure, and then when it comes to data center.
Yep. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. So we do Jira Server, Jira Data Center, and Cloud as well. The server and data center, because of the kind of complicated setup, that does go into our enterprise plan, just kind of right off the bat. But yeah, we do have several larger customers that are using it with data center. We do have to do, unlike the OAuth that you can do with cloud, you do have to do more a basic auth and set up a service user. So that it's like the Halp bot on behalf of John Doe posting. So the integration is a little bit different just because of the technology available to us.
Nice, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that was really eye-opening for me. I've seen some Halp presentations before, but I thought this really sort of showed more the power of it. And also, I just thought the question about B2B was really interesting, kind of gets me going about maybe supporting our external customers that way. If there's not any further questions, thank you very much, Tristan. And everybody keep this presentation in your head because you're going to be quizzed on it. We're going to move over to Slack World, which we're touching a bit upon already. And welcome Alistair from Adaptivist, who we've been trying to get this talk from Alistair for about 18 months. No, 15 months. Just pre-pandemic, we had him set up to talk. A snowstorm in the pandemic pretty much put him on hold, and we're really happy to welcome him here to show us some very innovative and how you can extend Slack with Jira. And here we go.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Alistair Wilkinson, and I'm a product manager at Adaptivist, working with our Slack team. Today, we're going to talk about a built-in feature for Slack that allows no-code users to create simple automations. The tool is called Workflow Builder. I'm going to walk you through how you can use the tool to set up some simple workflows. My examples are going to walk you through the basics all the way up to the recent addition of something called Steps for Apps, and how the app that Adaptivist created, Workflow Steps for Jira, can help you update or create issues in response to triggers in Slack. Okay. So for the agenda, I'm going to get into details of what the Workflow Builder is and what it's for. I'll give you a demo of a standard use case. Just because we are here with Halp, I'm going to do reporting bugs and show the Workflow Builder user interface. I'm going to give you a demo of our app Workflow Steps for Jira and how it can be used. And finally, I'm going to give a quick overview of what other Jira integration options there are for Slack and which ones have Workflow Builder app steps. So since this is a short presentation, you won't be a Workflow Builder master at the end. However, I hope that you feel like the Indiana Jones of Workflow Builder. By that, I mean you feel confident exploring and experimenting, not that you're going to end up fighting melting Nazis. But in the spirit of all good ACE events, I really hope that you as an end user feel empowered to go and automate a repetitive process this afternoon. So let's talk about Slack's Workflow Builder. A workflow takes a process that's usually tedious, making or receiving a request, for example, and streamlines it for you in real time. This happens in Slack channels where you're already having your collaborative conversations. With workflows, you'll spend less time coordinating and more time doing the work that's most important to you. For example, you can build a workflow that sends an onboarding message to a user that joins a channel to get them up to speed, or automatically captures and organizes key information in a channel like a help request, cutting down on the back and forth messaging. Okay, so we're going to jump straight into a demo of the Workflow Builder. I'm going to outline what the available triggers are. Then I'm going to give you an example of a workflow that you can use to capture bug reports. And I hope at this point you guys can see my Slack interface here. Yep. So if you don't know where the Workflow Builder is, it is buried in the Tools menu. I promised you an overview what the triggers are. So you can initiate a workflow with a shortcut. So this is basically a Slack user will start it. You can do it when a new member joins a new channel. You can do it from an emoji reaction, schedule time and date, or webhook. And I'm going to go into webhooks a bit later, so I'm not going to touch too much on that. But let's do a simple workflow where you submit a bug and you're going to write it to a Google Sheet. So we're going to use the global shortcut. So in the Toronto ACE chat, channel, it's going to call it Bugs Sheets. Then we're going to open a form. And this is all kind of standard features in the workflow builder. And I'm going to ask 2 questions. What are you seeing? And describes the issue. And this gives you a sense of the type of answers that you can collect in the form. And then it's really kind of like you have to figure that you essentially, for every step of the workflow, you get a variable that you can use in subsequent steps. So we're going to look at this Google integration. So I have authenticated with my Drive. I've chosen a specific sheet that I want to update, what the tab is. And essentially what I've got here is I'm taking columns and I'm putting the variables from the forms that I collected into that sheet. And just to make sure everybody kind of understands what I'm saying here, this is the sheet that I'm talking about. So I showed you all the columns. And then in the next step, I'm going to show you this assignee. So we're going to send a message into the Toronto ACE channel. We are going to use all those variables that we've shown to kind of give a recap, but we're also going to use this inbuilt feature for assign to me, or to take a button that also kind of pauses the workflow and allows you to continue it. We're going to call it assign to me. And then on the final step here, we're going to update the sheet. So we have all of the variables that are available to us by now. So we're going to do a match on the bug that we just reported, and then we're going to update the assignee column for the person who clicked assign to me. So when we actually go to do this, we go to our bug sheets integration. What are you seeing? We'll get posted into the channel here. And who's submitted it? What did I put in the form? And then I'm going to assign this to me. And if we go and look at our sheets, you can see here now that this information has been saved. So that gives you a sense of kind of what is the base functionality for available in the workflow builder. So what else should you know about it? Is workflow builder free? It is free, but it's only available on paid Slack plans. But it is available on all paid plans, and there's no limit on number of workflows, like who can make them, like number of executions, all of that is included. Are the possibilities endless? Well, endless is a stretch, but allows no-code users to set up workflows with a few clicks. Variables from each step of the workflow can be passed to the next step of the workflow. This is probably kind of will become a bigger issue or a bigger tool in the near future. So currently, there's no conditional branching in your workflows and only certain triggers available. But Slack has indicated that they do want to support those features, and they do want to allow for custom triggers for workflows. One important thing that is also kind of limitation is variables. They're only available during the course of executing the workflow. They can't be saved or passed into other workflows. And workflows are only specific to one channel. You can't have a global workflow, for example. So can I connect Workflow Builder to other services? Yes, with webhooks and steps from apps. So you can configure your webhook to pass information to Slack via an HTTP post, and Slack will generate a unique request URL for your workflow when you publish it. Any data your webhook sends to Slack can be referenced in a subsequent workflow step by creating variables that you declare during the setup. Unfortunately, webhooks do not support nested JSON structures. So for example, it can't support webhooks from Jira as it doesn't support the nested body structure with the issue details. So a fairly recent addition, so like back in October, Slack supported steps from apps. And these are basically functionality published by app vendors that allows the app to be triggered by Workflow Builder. An example is the workflow Google Sheets I just showed you. And if you're interested in this, there's actually a workflow page on the Slack home directory that lists all the apps that have workflow steps. Sorry, here we go. So if you do want to learn more, the workflow automation page gives you a link to a bunch of templates that you can modify for your use. So you just go and download them and you can import them into the workflow builder. And there is also a workflow builder, like kind of certified badge. And I think the biggest kind of benefit of that cert, it allows you kind of to see some patterns about where the workflow builder would be, applicable. Okay, so we're in an Atlassian user group, so let's get into some specific use cases for Jira. Okay, but let's talk first user identity. So we talked a little bit about in the Halp presentation. When you configure a workflow step, the act will act as the configuring user with your Jira permissions. So editing and configuring the steps are based on what projects, issues, fields that you can see. If you get a collaborator, that will update to what the collaborating user can see if they're the last one to edit it. While you can set the reporter or the assignee, you will always be the creator of the ticket as the workflow author. And one of the kind of, if you want to say like kind of pros and cons of this, people do not need to go and authenticate with the app. We support both cloud and server in DC. People can just actually go and use the workflow, whatever process you're trying to set up. One kind of cheat code, I would say, if you're using Jira Server DC, and let's say you're on some kind of single sign-on setup, and you know that usernames in Slack and Jira are identical, you can actually pass in Slack variables directly into Jira, and the Jira will try to match it. Certainly not best practice. However, if you are on cloud, this will never work, as the actions are always actually tied to Atlassian IDs, not to usernames. Okay, so let's get into some specific use cases. Sorry, my things have come out a little bit out of sync, but let's go into the workflow builder again. And let's talk, I'll show you a different way to access the workflow builder this time. And oops, open workflow builder from the global menu. Okay, so I'm going to show you a workflow that's got all of the steps in our workflow builder or workflow set for Jira app. So we're going to use the emoji reaction. So in the Toronto Ace channel, when somebody reacts with the bulb, we're going to kick off this workflow. We have an extract message content step. So this is going to link to the extract message or the message that was made. And I will note that for this to work, where this workflow is running, you do need to add in the bot to the channel. We're going to then, and just so people are clear, to add a new step in a workflow, you just click here. But we got a create Jira step now. And I'm going to, so as the person setting this up, I choose the Slack instance, the project, the issue type. I've got a standard here, bug reported by the person who sent the original message. I'm taking the Slack message content. This is a variable that I've got from the extract message content. I'm going to assign this to an admin who is a user in the Jira instance. And then all the rest of these fields, this is like we've dynamically gone and looked at the issue type. And this is all the fields that are, present in that issue type. Now, so what can you do? I told you could pass in Slack usernames directly. What if you can't do that? It's also, there doesn't, like, when you have a failure with a workflow, there's no real error messaging. So I really recommend you would go this way. So we're going to prompt in this Jira instance, we're going to the person who reacted, we want to make them the assignee in this workflow. So we're going to ask them, hey, can you go and select your Jira username? And this is what we're going to prompt them, their Jira username, but it could also be the issue key or the status. Just gives some kind of dynamic elements. And again, this is where you have a variable that you don't have now, at the start of the workflow that you got to bring in from the outside, you get that. And then we're going to update this. And we're going to do an update on the assignee. You could have done comment, report, or status. We're going to, again, we have variables from previous steps. So we've already created the Jira issue. So we've got the created issue key that we're going to put in here. And we've got the Jira username. And here, as I was saying, you could put the person who reacted directly if you thought it was going to work. But instead, we're going to use this variable from the prompt step. And then here, I'm going to show you, this is the little message we're going to see. So let's go and try this out. So now we see a lot of people using this for things like if they have a channel specifically for like an incident, somebody can go through and kind of throw all the relevant comments on the ticket with a emoji reaction, but I'm going to kind of use this for bug reporting. And then we said we're going to trigger this with a bulb. Now we're going to get a prompt step. So here it's thanks, Alistair, for volunteering to take this bug. Please select your Jira username. Here we go. Submit. And then if I go here, we're back here. Oh, it's popped into my other display. So let me, it was Slack 14. If we refresh this. And here's a conversational bug. And instead of admin, I am the assignee. So back to the presentation. So to recap a few things, the app makes dynamic calls to your project's issues based on your permissions and supports any custom fields you have. There are several templates you can import on the Jira App Steps site where you can modify, including the example you saw today. And right now the app is free. We want to talk to people about their integration needs, and we want to encourage people to use our tools. Well, while that was fairly high level, I hope it gives you a sense of what the workflow builder can accomplish. So we're going to end off here with just a really quick overview of some of the other options to integrate Jira with Slack. I'm going to just cover these three main players. So there's the official Atlassian app, Trooper, and Jira Integration Plus by Next Up. So to get it out of the way, if you're on server DC, the existing Atlassian app, all it does is allows configurable notifications, and Atlassian has indicated that they're not going to do any further development on this. So you can kind of feel the typical love from Atlassian. On the flip side, Cloud is actually a fairly good app. It allows for filtered lists of issues on the app home tab, like it allows creating and updating Jira issues in Slack. It's got configurable notifications. And with automation for Jira, you can do some cool notifications like time and status for like issues that are stuck in a sprint or whatever. However, neither tool has a workflow step. So I'm just because of time, I'm going to kind of combine both Trooper and Jira Integration Plus. These are probably the main players for Jira integration tools. Both of them are solid options. They have a similar feature set, but Trooper is a bit more of an agile bent to the product, offering automated stand-ups where you can interact with Jira issues and clickable sprint data visualizations. While Jira Integration Plus may have a few less features, I think the UI onboarding, again, back to the need for people to authenticate to use the tools, is a bit better, and they have some deployment options that make it easier for use in high security environments. But again, both are solid. Plus, Jira Integration Plus has a create issue step. Just because we're talking with Halp too. So Halp also has a create ticket app step. And for completion's sake, the Zapier automation platform has an app step that allows you to update or create your issues too. So if you have not heard of it at Optivist, we are Platinum Atlassian partners and also service partners with Slack. And with that, I'm done, and I will say thank you.
So thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Alistair on some of the demonstration that he showed us of things you can build out? First of all, I didn't even know Work Builder was there in Slack, so I'm just going to pretend I didn't know. I knew that.
It is a pretty buried feature, that's for sure.
Sure is. And, I don't even think my IT guys pay attention to it. I can't even get them to put the native Jira Atlassian Slack integration one, so at least we can unfurl issues in Slack. I can't even get them to do that, mostly because Server and Slack it's a little more of a clunky integration versus the cloud one. So.
Yeah, and in terms of kind of what needs to happen to integrate the product, so workflow steps for Jira. So if you are in Server DC, a Jira admin will have to set up an app link.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're on cloud, if you get the product installed, you as an end user can go in off and get cracking yourself.
Yeah, that's what I think. We'll be on cloud hopefully next year. So. Does anyone else have any great questions for Alistair? Well, I have to say that my eyes are wide open now looking at Slack and all the great things I could do. I love the conversational version of Halp. That's so amazing. And my head is ringing with ideas of things that I could possibly do with that Work Builder, just even the smallest little thing within Slack and Jira, although I think that might be difficult until I get to cloud. But I mean, I probably could get help tomorrow, and that would be wonderful. So shall we move on to the quiz, Danny?
Yeah, so I've put the link into the in the chat room. If you want to start signing up as I bring this up, that'd be great. And then we will kick this off. Hopefully you can all see it now. We'll wait so Mel doesn't have to do the quiz by himself. Just give it another second as people join.
Okay, I'm joining. I know I can't win anything because I've actually seen the answers, but since I don't observe much, I'm going to try it again for fun.
Awesome. I think we've got 4 folks or so. We'll give it another 30 seconds and then I'll kick it off.
Come on, guys, there's prizes for here. Some really good prizes. I think that you'll want to just sign in and do your best. Let us know if you need more time to sign up. Super easy if you just put that QR code against your phone.
As we're close to time, I guess I'll kick it off. You can join as we're going. So Susan, if you want to read off the questions, I'll get it going now.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Oh, we got a bunch more. Just join. That's good. Okay. Which of the following actions is not a valid trigger for workflow? Do. Need to spin Jeopardy noise
We
again.
need music for next time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, then. That was interesting. Woo. Okay. When a step from workflow steps for Jira executes, whose Jira permissions are being used? I think Alistair was trying to point that out to us very clearly. See if we were listening or not.
I don't believe in trick questions.
I don't know about that. There's a little bit of differentiation there. It's like almost 50-50 on that one. What features does the Atlassian Jira integration app support for server DC customers? That's a hard one. I thought it did a lot of things, just can't remember white ones that it did. Changed my mind at the last minute and wouldn't let me. Oh well. Receive notifications. Interesting. Halp recently released their own workflow builder step to create tickets. Is that true or false? This 50-50 question, people. Shouldn't be that hard. Remember, you get points for how quickly you answer these in Slido as well. It's not just simply a matter of getting it right or wrong, which pretty much puts me out of the running. Hey. What year was Halp founded? Oops, I think I put the wrong year there. Okay, then. Oh, missed it by that much. What was the name of the company before changing to Halp? And I don't think I was paying attention because I've only actually known as Halp when it first arrived on the scene. Oh, nobody knew. Okay, fail. What is the primary team in a company that uses Halp? Okay, so I think that although there's a primary team, I think it was really important that what Tristan showed us is that how many other regular business teams can often really benefit from Halp. In Halp's chat experience, where do all the agent tickets get routed? So this is Teams we're talking about. So I assume there would be a similar type of specific channel in Slack versus Teams. Ooh, we were all listening. Okay. Okay, Tristan, was that really you or is that somebody else making fun of you?
Yeah, that's my alter ego. I was trying to see if I could win being not Tristan.
And you did. And you did. But that's not fair. You knew like half of them. And look at me, I cheated too. Oh well, we have Alistair, was that you?
Yeah, I'm excluded as well. D-Dash wins it.
D-Dash and Mel. Do we have any other users in there?
Then Alex and Martin.
Okay, so D-Dash and Mel, you're going to be the proud winners of some very amazing Adaptivist swag. And who were the next two, Danny?
Alex and Martin.
Okay, Alex and Martin, we have some new tremendous codes, which are kind of like cash prizes that we will be handing out to you. The trick is, because I don't get to keep your emails, you need to email us at Toronto_Canada@atlassiancommunity.com. I can put that in the chat. I think that a few of you, or if you forget it, just like contact the members on our event page on the bevy that can do that. That would also work to get to us. So any other comments, questions before we let you all go and get back to lunch? Because I know I'm hungry. So if not, I have learned a whole lot. Thank you so much, Tristan. Halp is totally amazing, and I wish probably our company would not take that on until we got to cloud, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. And Alistair, thank you for opening my eyes to Work Builder, and even I might have tapped a few small things between our server version and Jira, just a few little fun things. That's about it. I'm a little bit scared to go into any of those others at the moment. So. But thank you very much. And we'll see you in the fall. We're taking summer holidays, all of us, summer break, and fingers crossed that we might be able to have an in-person event sometime this fall. So, see you all then. Thank you.
Thanks,
very,
everyone.
very much.
Bye.